Hey guys, Michael from 90 Plus GAMSAT. We're doing a quote interpretation of a set on other perspectives in education. This is a tougher one. I didn't know whether to include it or not, but I'll put it here to challenge you guys to look a bit deeper into prompts and see what you can uncover underneath. Let's have a look together. So, prompt 1, education should not be intended to make people comfortable. It is meant to make people think. This one is the most straightforward of the prompts, I think. So I think this is really suggesting themes or gesturing at social issues, particularly I'd say in America at the moment, in which educational institutions in particular are required to be, in ways that they weren't before, safe spaces, which is to say spaces that people can participate in that are inclusive and which do not bear the risk of triggers or microaggressions, and which are designed to accommodate people of widely varying identities, backgrounds, experiences, ethnicities, genders, religions, and such. It seems to me that there has been a shift in particular over the past, say, 10 years, wherein I think you see it reflected in parenting as well. It's less of that attitude of stiffen up the upper lip and the challenge and socializing, being challenged and being uncomfortable or being in pain, even suffering to some degree. There's less of a place for that now in the eyes of society, but that before it was seen as a part, almost a rite of passage, like to the extent of going back to Spartan times, where literally before a boy could become a man, they'd be out there fighting wolves or going through some kind of ordeal. But instead today, it seems that there's more of an encouragement that these places be sanitized, deodorized, and stripped of any risk of anyone being harmed. And I think it also it invites a discussion of what it means. What do you mean by harm? If you ask J.S. Mill about the harm principle, there needed to be, in fact, I might find the exact definition of the harm principle. It's not coming up immediately, but perhaps you can look up the harm principle. I believe it's by John Stuart Mill. And I'm sure that there would be associated or similar opinion pieces on how the definition or ideas of harm have shifted in the past 10 years. But I digress. Let's move on. So prompt 2, this is from Ulysses by James Joyce. Every life is in many days, day after day. We walk through ourselves, meeting robbers, ghosts, giants, old men, young men, wives, widows, brothers in love, but always meeting ourselves. So this is a little bit of a harder one, I think, to interpret. But what I believe that is being said here is that we see the world in terms of ourselves. And also that our lives are reflections of who we are and how we are. So, for example, the robber believes everyone's a thief. So that we can't avoid essentially our own perspectives being shown back to us. And also that we interpret other people's points of view in terms of our own, not independent of our own, which colours them in ways that belie the meaning and beset communication between people with different views, with problems that make debates increasingly incommensurable, which means unable to resolve. All right, let's move on. A little bit harder on that one. Number 3, there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Victor Hugo said this. So there's some sense here. The first thing that I ask myself is why? Why would he say, or in what sense is that true? And if I cast around for what ideas we're thinking of, so I'm thinking of desegregation of black and white schools in America. I'm thinking that the suffragettes. But even you could go back. You could go to Aristotle's epistemology, logic. It does certainly seem to be that society is made in the image of ideas. take, I don't want to go on too long here, but take, for example, in antiquity, when God is the center of the universe and God is a unifying principle. You can look, for example, I don't know if you're in Melbourne, but if not, Google it, Flinders Street Station, and you can see it's architectural, it's symmetrical, it's all centered around a unifying point, the dome at the top and the clock. Look across the road at Fed Square, which was made obviously much later, and it's just a series of chaotic points. Just a node or a network of points that have no unifying principle. And you can see how the ideas, because obviously we've progressed on from antiquity. God is no longer the center of society. Man is. And then we can even say in post-modernity, there's now a vacuum of power. It's just a competition. Everyone's got Dr. Google and there's everything's just down to axiology now, which means values, ethics, and aesthetics. There's my aesthetic preference versus your aesthetic preference and no way to mediate that. We can see it in music. So take the architectural nature of Mozart, which devolved into the thematic nature of Debussy or Bach, which devolved into the textural nature of jazz, which is all about breaking the rules, which has now devolved into the sensual nature of, for example, WAP by Cardi B, or other hip-hop songs. All right, so nothing as powerful as an idea whose time has come. So part of this is that I think society is fashioned in the image of ideas, but also that perhaps modernity prides itself on its ideas. In fact, I've got a definition that maybe we can something to say about modernity that I think might help. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. Modernity, the self-definition of a generation about its own technological innovation, governance, and socioeconomic dominance. To participate in modernity is to see one's immediate predecessors as antiquated or at least surpassed. It's intolerance towards other worldviews, a politics of victor and vanquished, a past that is fading, a present that is dynamic, and a promising and progressive future. And we could call that Whig history, W-H-I-G-G, the idea that the world is always improving, that not that we were better before and declining, but in fact that we're improving. And I would challenge that. You look at, for example, Aboriginal Australians who lived for 50,000 years in peace and harmony with the world, and we can't manage 4 without changing our government. But that's up for debate. All right, you are not entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your informed opinion. No one is entitled to be ignorant. So I think this is a bit of pushback against the idea of subjectivism. So just that I've got my idea, you've got yours. There's no objective truth. But I also think it's quite a dogmatic statement. I think everyone thinks that their opinion is informed, and this brings up a question of epistemic warrant, which is to say, what's a good reason to believe in something? Is it just because it's my aesthetic preference? Did I do a degree in it? So now I've looked at this. Now we've gone through that. I think some of these things are perhaps deeper than I think would be likely for the average student to pick out from underneath. Don't feel that if you didn't get any of that you've missed the point or that you're not going to be able to write a good essay. That's absolutely not the case. They were just my particular thoughts and reflections on this topic. But I wanted to include one that's a little bit more challenging or that gives you an idea and also prompts that brought up topics that I think are good to discuss. Because even if you don't get these particular prompts, I think that the topics that we've discussed here are either likely to come up or furnish an understanding of the world around you that's going to benefit you in GAMSAT anyway. So have a crack, see how you go. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message at michael@90plusgamsat.com. All right, guys. See ya.